Hi, today I am interviewing an awesome EPT practitioner who's been around for a while, and she has taught many EPT practitioners also, and it's Rhonda Cupp. Hello, Rhonda,
Hello, everybody.
and welcome to this interview. I'm so grateful that you decided to do it, and I'm just going to start out with what I ask most everyone, and that is, when did you take your first EPT training, and then just kind of tell us all about the different trainings you've taken, how many you've taken, that kind of thing.
Okay, hello, everybody. I started my training in 2007. First of all, I went to a one-day seminar that Dr. Annette taught in Indianapolis, and it was in January 2007. It was one day. At the end of that, I knew I wanted to learn EPT. And so by March, I went through my first series, and by June, I was seeing some clients. And it was the following year when I really developed an LLC and got the business started. In 2009, I opened up an office space, and I did dental hygiene 2 days a week, and I did EPT, emotional clarity technique, 3 days a week. And then it was about 2013, February, that I resigned from cleaning teeth and I started doing EPT full time.
So I know that you've got a background in serving people by doing dental hygiene and that you're wonderful with people. I always like to ask people who, whatever background they're from, what made you want to do EPT? Like, what in you was just kind of calling you? What made you decide this is something I need to do?
Well, I've always enjoyed talking with people and hearing about their problems and brainstorming solutions, and a lot of ministry through the years in the church with people and women especially. Um, I've been through a lot of talk therapy myself, which I think is hugely beneficial. But what I found with emotional clarity technique was we get right to the root issue really fast. We call it 10 years of therapy in 10 minutes. Because with just simply muscle testing their body and letting their body speak to us and give us the information using a technique that works great every time, we're able to get to the first time that emotion was experienced and what was the event. And then the powerhouse of all of EPT is the forgiveness part. And so they leave that one session with patterns in their life changed, where they're able to lean in and just start to make better decisions without effort, without having to do the 5-step program or a 10 steps or the 3 steps, all the programs out there that are helpful. But if you don't get to the root issue and clear it out from there first, you're still going to be battling that same reoccurring issue. So that's what drew me to EPT and it was a 3-weekend course. And then you're trained well enough to start seeing people, and the amazing results of simply following the technique, hearing the feedback from people, that was really exciting. I must say my whole reason I even looked into EPT before January 2007 was a session I had done on me February 2005. And that was unlike anything else. And I'm still a client myself of EPT and have found that it changes my life. If I have regular EPT, everything in my life runs better. My emotions, my relationships, my health, my balance. And so I'm a big believer in EPT.
That's incredible. I would totally agree with being a believer in EPT. It's hard to have EPT done. It's kind of like seeing the internet for the first time. When you realize you can change so much so fast and go so deep so quickly with very little effort, with the help of a really good EPT practitioner, you just look at life differently after that. All my relationships changed as well. How I raised my kids was different. How I deal in my marriage is different. With my siblings, my parents, I mean, everything just kind of turned upside down. And so I love hearing you say that because I too am an avid EPT practitioner who also has EPT done. There is, you know, I can say I'm getting ready to visit my grandmother who's 98 years old, who's in the hospital in Florida, and we kind of have an emergency visit. And I'm already thinking of, you know, how I can help her emotionally. And I don't know what else to do. I mean, obviously we pray for her and all of that, but I know that she's so alone in the hospital, and EPT can help alleviate so much for her. And I'm just really grateful to have that for my family and, you know, just for my own life. So I completely agree with you there. And so I love hearing you say that's why, one of the reasons you took it. So besides EPT, I know that a lot of EPT practitioners use all kinds of different healing techniques. I know I do. I know a lot about nutrition, and I do other body work. And so I'd like to ask, do you have any other practices that you do that you incorporate and integrate into your EPT practice?
I think for me, it's not any other learned actual technique. EPT is definitely the baseline of what I use. But all the years of experience of youth ministry, ministry in the church, just working with people in counseling situations, my own devotion to understanding more about my Heavenly Father, literally just comes to the page with me, with my clients, and able to just remind them of who we are and whose we are and who loves us and who's in control, and it's certainly not us. And so I think coming into my sessions, knowing that's really a baseline part of who I am, I'm excited to at the right time and the right opportunities bring that into the session. But mostly it's emotional, you know, healing.
Tell me a little bit about your practice, where you're located, so that people who might want to utilize you as a practitioner would be able to contact you. Also, if there's, you know, any other things you're working on that you're also going to offer people, you know, please tell me that now.
Okay, we are located in Buckner, right outside of Crestwood, and it is about exactly 17 miles from the bridge in Louisville. So Louisville, the bridge going from Indiana to Kentucky. We are 17 miles up on Interstate 71. And let's see, I also have a location in Lexington, and I'm there every Thursday. I've been going there for 5 years, and that is in Nutrition in You, an office there for a naturopath. What we do, I have found my ideal client tends to be relationship issues. I have a lot of women and some men coming in that are in abusive situations, that are in relationships with parents, their adult children, and have situations with their parents or their own children. Romantic relationships, employee relationships, and it seems like we deal with depression, we deal with anxiety, grief, lots of grief work, but I tend to find that ideal client is that one looking to make their relationship better, and they're the one really going, I want to work on this for myself, and what can I do to enhance this relationship? And so we're doing some different things in that area. I know that to build a great relationship, you have to know and love yourself first. And the way we do that is by understanding God's unconditional love for us. So we've been developing some women's retreats that we'll be rolling out about how to love you, called Anchored in Love, how to really love yourself. And then the second phase will be how to love others, and then how to love your dream. Like, what is God calling you? It may be a business, it may be a passion, it may be a service, and how to do that to fulfill the mission you are here on earth to do. And so that's something happening. We'll be having some support groups in our office. And one thing I love about EPT is we can do this by phone. And so about a third of my clientele are phone clients. Some of them I've never met yet, and some of them I worked with, but they've moved away. And so that's something very exciting about EPT as well, Dr. Annette.
I love your enthusiasm and your compassion for people, and I can definitely stand as a testimony that Rhonda is an amazing practitioner, and she definitely has an incredible heart for helping people heal relationships, and she totally has an expertise in this area that I have definitely seen over the course of the time that I have known her. And So if you are looking at improving relationships and and you feel this is calling to you, please connect with Rhonda, because she can help you navigate those relationships that are sticky or uncomfortable, and she can like bring you into that space where really God wants you to be in a relationship, and not just with the other person, but I agree with her that being able to come into that relationship of love for yourself, the same that God has for you, is going to be pivotal for all of your relationships. And I know that I have watched Rhonda walk this road, and I think she's a genius in this. So thank you, Rhonda, for bringing that up, because I totally I am thrilled with your capacity to do this, and I know that you help hundreds of people in this area. So what when you're talking to people and you're out there and we say EPT and it stands for emotional polarity technique and that kind of thing. So my question is, what do you tell people you do? How do you describe EPT when someone says, well, what's EPT and how is it different from traditional therapy, and like what is it? I don't understand. How do you answer that?
I ask them, is there something in your life that you keep repeating, maybe a bad habit, or someone else who they get angry and get all upset and they say, I'm sorry, and next time I won't do that, and then something happens later and they do the same thing, or we find ourselves do the same thing. Emotional polarity technique helps find the root of that. It helps go undercover. I call it like we're the undercover agents. We go down underneath, and we're finding when was the first time that neuropeptide left the brain, went to that organ, and created that pattern. Because what we didn't realize, and science shows us now, is that once it happens once, the body opens that file every single time after and runs the same program. And often it's a false belief that got created based on the experience that we had or someone did to us or something we did to them, or a belief handed down through the generations. And we're able to find that with emotional polarity technique. And talk therapy can talk about that for a long time. And they give you great tools. And I'm a client of talk therapy. I think it's amazing. But when you keep running into the same patterns over and over, emotional polarity technique is going to find it fast and bring forgiveness to it, awareness to it, and let it go. And they will see a pattern much quicker. So I say to the person, do you have something that you kind of keep repeating? Maybe it's financial ruin, or can't live above your means. You're always, or whatever stress you have, divorce, grief, finances, anxiety, depression, addictions, whether it's themselves, a spouse, or a child, or a parent. Emotional polarity technique gets into the pattern of it and the pathway to find what happened that caused this false pattern to get started. And so I think explaining that to them briefly, and I always say, okay, you really can't understand it till you try it. So we have an adventure guarantee at our office. Come and try it out. If after that first session this is not for you, there's no charge. And Dr. Annette, since we've been doing this in 2008, really seeing clients since 2007, we've not had to do that. I had one situation where I realized this gentleman was trying to quit smoking. And he was an older gentleman, and I realized very early into the session he also had dementia. And he swore that it was helping him, but I could not have a good ethic in my heart to take money from him that day. So we did not charge him for his session. But having an adventure guarantee, you can tell your friends, look, go try it. Because until that person experiences the moment of, when's the first time this happened to me? And they watch us muscle test that and find it, they're blown away. And so we say, come in and try it. It's way better than us trying to explain it to you.
I love that you call it an adventure guarantee because that is exactly what EPT is. It's an adventure into your invisible world. You've got your tangible world, the people you can touch and feel, and the things around you, and the clothes you wear, and the way you look, and how your body is. But then there's this intangible world, this invisible world where you hold all your thoughts and beliefs and ideas, and that nobody really has entrance to except for you. And so it's quite an adventure when you start doing EPT. That is the perfect word, because it kind of becomes this adventure of, where did I get stuck? What is held in that invisible landscape in my mind that I'm not even paying attention to, that I didn't even realize was operating some of the stupid things I keep doing over and over again. So I love that it's called Adventure Guarantee, because it's definitely been an adventure for my life, and I would encourage anybody to go on that adventure. So what are the top 3 reasons that you would tell someone they should get EPT done?
I would say the number 1 reason is it works very quickly. Usually just in 1 session you are seeing definite change, tangible, measurable change in your life. Number 2, it works for every kind of situation you have, whether it's health, whether it's relationships, whether it's your spirituality. EPT will help that. But number 3, it's really about building relationships with each other. And I love getting to know people, and they are looking for someone to walk this journey with them. Please walk with me as I navigate through a healthier life or a more balanced life. So those will be my top 3.
So what are the done lots of EPT sessions, I know, hundreds, maybe thousands over the years. So what is the most amazing EPT experience that you've either had personally or that you've witnessed with a client?
I'm going to tell today about one early in. It was in my first year, probably the first few months of doing EPT, and I had a gentleman come in, and he wanted to try it because of a business relationship. He owned a business, and he had customers that would come in. And he said, Rhonda, I have this one customer. I don't know what I've done to him. He's a big account. I want to keep this account. He is rude to me. He is arrogant. I can hardly stand him. I am nice because I own my business, and I have to do the right thing. But I'll tell you what, I don't know what it is with this man. And it had been going on for years. Well, I went ahead and did the technique. And we found the root on it went back to a previous business he was in, where that partner embezzled money, took off, literally bankrupted the company, took all the money, and left him holding bankruptcy. And he had a root of unforgiveness in there. I can't even tell you right now what the organ was and the emotion was, but this is what was so exciting. As I'm doing EPT, I'm thinking, what does this have to do with this current situation? But I followed the technique. I was a newbie. I trusted the technique. I was nervous. I was shaking inside, but I'm thinking, what's the connection here? We did the forgiveness statements towards that previous partner. We threw in a few forgiveness statements for this customer account that he needs to keep because it's a big one. He came in a week later and he said, I don't know what you did, but let me tell you what happened. He said that guy came in and he walked in the door and I thought, here we go. And he walked up to me, and before we started, he looked right at me and he said, I owe you a big apology. I have been rude to you. I have been arrogant, and I just want you to know I'm sorry. And this businessman was like thinking, what in the world? And he was so flabbergasted, he just got back to business. Okay, so thank you. I'm here to take care of your account. And the gentleman said, I don't think you're hearing me. Can we go outside? And the business owner thought, okay. And they went outside, and the gentleman looked him in the eye and said, I am sorry. I wanted to make sure you heard me. I had no right to treat you this way, and I'm sorry. And the business owner was like, well, okay, thank you. And they have been fine ever since. So the gentleman's looking at me going, this works. What did you do? And I'm thinking, I'm happy it worked. All I did was
I love it when it happens like that. And it happens so often.
It does. It does.
And it's so amazing that someone who is a newbie can actually have that kind of experience. I mean, you were brand new and you still got to see something that was just remarkable for your level of expertise. It was just remarkable. So that's incredible. So, how has EPT changed your life for good, Rhonda?
Wow. Oh, that's a big one. It's changed my life dramatically. Dr. Annette knows how I feel about her and about EPT. It's healed relationships in my family, with my brother and his family, things with my own family, with my mom and dad, things with my children. It has helped in romantic relationships. I'll tell you what, emotional clarity techniques helps you figure out what your part is and how you can change. It's not about changing someone else. It really is about understanding what's the dynamic happening here and how much do I own in this, and the part I own, how can I fix it permanently and change it, and maybe take care of my part of the world. We like to say keep my side of the street clean. You know, that's all we can be responsible for, and show love and forgiveness and sometimes tough boundaries. Sometimes we're afraid to forgive because we're afraid they will overtake us even more if we've been hurt. And often we find when we forgive, we have a healthier way to set a boundary. We're more empowered, we're stronger, we're more courageous. And so I think I am forever indebted to EPT, and that certainly is why I love doing this. I tell people your greatest thing is when you can find the work you love and find a way to get paid for it, right? Find your passion and find a way to get paid for it, and you're living the dream. And that's what emotional clarity technique brought to my life. I still love dentistry, and I'll sub here and there, but my passion is helping people change their life and live their dream.
And you show that passion so beautifully, Rhonda. You are just incredible. You have been such an inspiration to so many people you have taught EPT to as you were doing the teaching gig with me for a while, and for quite a while. And I'm so grateful that you're part of this family of EPT and that you have such a passion and such a heart to help people and that you go out and you do it. And I get to hear about those changes and the miracles that happen because you decided to just say, I'd like to do this thing too, Annette. I want to do it. I want to help people this way. And so people that I never even got to meet, I have some tiny little bit of participation in seeing their life change as well because you're out there doing such amazing work. What would you say to someone who was considering doing EPT but not sure if they should do it or not?
Well, I would say certainly go have a session. If you haven't had a session, most people that come to us have already had sessions and they realize how amazing it is, but I would say go have a session and try it out. Secondly, go get the training. You'll change your life. The trainings have been set up from the beginning. There's always workshops. So you learn a concept, you do it. You learn a concept, you do it. You practice on each other. And this isn't fake practicing. People are bringing their real issues to one another in a confidential, safe setting, practicing their technique on a real issue. And then they come back the next month and we're finding out the feedback. What happened? What changed? What's going on? And by the time you're done with the training, usually your core group of people you train with stay with you the 3 different weekends of the training. And you build a little family almost. And you're learning through 3 months of changes, watching people's lives because of the actual technique they're a student of. And they're actually changing people's lives while they're learning it. So I would say come, even if you're not even sure you want to practice. Most people that come for training aren't sure if they want to practice, and not everybody will have one or is called to have one. But you will have benefit just even from the training.
Thank you so much for your enthusiasm and your love and your contribution to everything at EPT, and most of all that you go out there and you really practice what you preach, and you really do make the world a better place, Rhonda. And I am so grateful to know that you're there doing that. And I adore you. I love you. I'm proud of you. I am just thrilled that you did this interview with me, and I hope that it inspires lots of practitioners as you have that gift.
Thank you very much, Dr. Annette.
All right. Bye-bye.